Welcome back to Funny-ish.
I'm Andrew Stein.
I'm Aaron Martinez, and we got who do we got here today?
We got Ty Colgate.
Oh my goodness! Thank you so much for being here.
Of course, this is great. I love this setup. I love this dining room table.
It's fantastic, right?
Is this IKEA?
No, it's actually Target.
Oh, that was going to be my second guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. You were almost. You were just like $15 off.
Yeah,
You're so close.
Wait, which one's more expensive, Target or IKEA?
I'd give the.
Did you have to build this?
I mean, the other one had to come from Sweden, so it's just the shipping was the only real. That's the only price difference. You know what
think? I don't know.
Pretty even.
You're probably right.
I don't know. This is metal, so there's like metal pieces on here, and it's pretty robust.
Are you sure that could just be like some kind of composite?
It's just plywood. We just like break right through the middle of it.
Like this is plastic. It just feels like steel. Like
Wow. Yeah, that new like NASA plastic that feels like steel.
Yeah. You don't know. They do new stuff all the time.
Yeah, mine's just wood. That's it.
Yeah,
So
Elon Musk made this.
Ooh, just wood. I guess we'll go with that. Ty, what do you do?
As a day job or my hopes and dreams, those things. I do comedy sometimes. I do stand-up comedy mostly.
Oh, that's great. Kevin, could you check that for us?
Can we just Google Ty Colgate stand-up comedy?
So far, he has no mic either.
Yeah, I feel bad. This is
How official can your producer be if he gets no mic?
TYE Ty?
TYE time?
who's TYE?
Does that sound right to you?
Ty.
I think so.
Does it? Wow. I haven't gotten that answer before. Yeah, no.
That's a man who's a math major, dude.
Yeah, that is TY, and then I can spell it Colgate too.
That's T-E.
Ty.
Colgate?
Huh?
Toothpaste? Colgate?
Yeah. Like I said, I could spell it out for you.
This is a great
Ty
assistant.
Yeah.
Colgate, comedian and event producer.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Wow.
He's
Let's
Google.
fact check.
That's the first guess who's Googleable.
Yeah.
Wait, where did you get that from?
Google.
Google. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Good for me.
So you're on
Good
there.
job.
I'm on the Google.
We're on the Google.
That feels good.
Yeah,
All right.
congrats. So tell us about the shows and events you produce and perform.
Or we can search them.
Yeah, we can just look them up.
Yeah, honestly,
We don't need you here.
we
Yeah,
can.
podcast's
We
over.
can cut the
just-
podcast
Yeah, we
now.
can just go ahead and just look it up and. do a
Yeah,
podcast about that.
can we just? We'll talk about the table, but we'll put this stuff in the notes.
Make sure.
So I do fifth place comedy, which it was just fifth place comedy show. You were there back when it was in a really rowdy Buckhead dive bar.
I was there for the first one.
Oh my God! Wow.
Me
I
and-
just went through those photos because I was transferring them to a new drive, and I was like, wow, what a piece of shit that was.
Yeah,
Because it was like two people. It was like one drunk dude that heckled the whole time.
I remember.
And him and Joe battled it out there.
Yeah,
Battle of the wits.
I remember it was every straight white comedian in the city of Atlanta and Ngozi.
Well, so every straight white comedian in the city.
Atlanta, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, and the rowdiest, most Buckhead bar. And wow, we did that, every other Thursday until a pandemic happened?
Yeah, for about 4 or 5 months, right? It was
No, longer. We were, I think, 10 months in.
it was.
Because we canceled,
right.
we canceled the March show, which was like 2 months shy of being 1 year in.
Wow.
And then we switched over to being more of an event company and doing like pop-up shows and bringing like headliners in, which is boy, did I like sign up for a lot there. That's I should have stayed with the straight white male showcase in Buckhead.
You're saying that bringing in people who actually make money makes it a little harder?
Yeah. There's something about putting professional in front of the comedian part that makes it way more complicated and way more expensive.
But we are curious to know. Like, I know that's a bit, but what are the challenges of that?
So, well, for starters, if you have to deal with a manager, you're almost like you're middle manning the whole thing because you're not even talking to the comics. So you don't even really know what they want. You're just getting
What's being relayed by the middle person.
Yeah, and what they want is money. So they're just going to try to milk you dry and get as much out of you, which sometimes works in their favor. So essentially, you're going to find some comics you like or you're interested in, and you're going to start with a flight or travel buyout or something, and then you're going to figure out a number that makes sense on that. Then you got to get a hotel, which you might not believe it. Hotels in Atlanta are fucking expensive.
You don't say.
Yeah, really. Honestly, that was shocking to me how expensive hotels can be here. So it's like after the flight, the hotel, and paying them, you're just kind of happy to get your bit of stage time with them, and then hopefully the next one isn't as difficult.
Bad. But I mean, I will like, as far as being a show producer, the benefits of it, those are obviously some, like, I wouldn't say cons, but like some hurdles maybe. The benefits would be like you get to talk with someone who's maybe a little bit more experienced than we are, someone who's done a lot of been on TV and stuff like that.
Yeah, you get the Curry favor, you know, the usual, like someone's like, oh, you book that, I'll book this, and we'll book each other and all that bullshit. That's a lot less when you're doing headliner shows because you only have really like a guest spot, maybe 2 guest spots. So, and you don't want to like disappoint the headliner, so you have to make sure like the comics you are booking are very solid and can kind of represent the scene a little bit better.
Yeah, and there's only a couple of those people that can.
I mean, Atlanta's a decent scene. I think usually we have a decent list of comics that we're thinking about where it's like, oh yeah, we can get any of them in, and this will make sense.
Right.
In terms of like showcase shows, that is where it's like you're wide open to the gambit, where you can take more risks with your bookings. I think once we moved on to like Ponce City Market and we were doing it there, I would always have one spot open that was considered like the wild card spot, where it was like, we're going to try someone out here.
Right. And that's how you kind of get people to sort of like, it's almost like their showcase to see if they're ready to be booked in other places around town. Right.
And I try not to be a dick. I wouldn't tell them it was that. Right. Like that, and I've had that happen to me a few times, and I always hate that because like all of a sudden it takes the part that I think you need the most in comedy, where you have to be willing to take risks. When someone tells you you're like trying out, all of a sudden you're like, well, we got to play it safe, and it's got to be
all my best shit. I'm not gonna do any crowd work.
And it loses personality, so it's like boring and cut and dry. So you don't even bother. I don't tell anyone when it's like, we just want to see. I will book them, and it'll just be a normal show. And then if they do good, then it's like, sure, great. We'll keep bringing you back.
Yeah, and I found like the first one of those is usually not your best representation of what you have to offer. Usually you gotta
get comfortable.
Yeah, once you start being like, well, I'm already good enough to do this anyway, that's when you start to kind of feel a bit more comfortable in those situations. I think
on my own show was that way. Like when it was in Buckhead, I mean, like the process of learning how to host was just being punched in the face every other Thursday. I mean, because it was like the most apathetic audience. I mean, you were at a lot of them.
Yeah, I remember it well.
Some of them were great.
So you were apathetic.
I was not a fan of it, no.
Oh, it was brutal. It was very hard. I mean, you could do well, but you had to be, like, great. Like, you had to be, like...
It was a fair... even the thing, though, about it, though, is that, like, if you were funny, then you did well. Like, if you were good and you had a good night, then you could do well. That's what I liked about that show, even though sometimes it wasn't, like... It wasn't the roof blowing off the...
Well, you wanted it to be an open mic. I remember that because, like, I think we got 3 shows in. And I was talking to you about it, and you're like, maybe just make an open mic out of it. And I was like,
that was just selfishly me being like, can I just?
Oh, of course, no, I get it. I do that too. Whenever I go to 100%. Showcases that are a nightmare, I'm like, maybe we just make this a thing that we can get to every week. Bro, it was terrible. I mean, like, sometimes it was rough. Like, I went home thinking, like, why did we do this?
Yeah, but the thing is, once if you do it long enough, you start to get, like, a big enough sample size where it ends up being kind of 50-50 after a while. Like, every bad one comes with a good one. And the good ones, I think, are worth the bad ones once you start to kind of middle out,
Well, I was doing 2 battles, essentially. I was a new show producer, so... It was learning all that from like nothing, just Googling and being on Reddit and trying to study like what other show producers have said. And then it was being a new host. So I was bad at both. Like I didn't know how to host. I didn't know how to show produce. I was hardly really like figuring out stand-up comedy. So it was like, because I think I was like 9 months into stand-up before I started that show. And man, was that a bitch slap.
To your credit, you kind of, like your trajectory was going this way, and then it kind of elevated it a little bit, having to go through that experience. So
yeah, well, I mean,
from the outside at least, I think.
It was definitely a steel sharpened steel because I wanted to quit so many times on the 5th place thing. So many. I mean, god damn, the first 4 months probably I wanted to quit after every single one. Where I'm like, not quit stand up, but just be like, let's just put the show producing away.
That's a lot to take on, yeah.
Oh, it sucks because it's embarrassing. You have these your peers, and they're watching you bomb your host set. They're probably going to bomb too,
but they think they're better. They think they're going to do better than you.
Oh, totally.
For some reason, that's the thing that always drove me insane. Is like I'm up there hosting and I'm bombing, and they're like, "I'm going to save the show," and I'm like, "No, you're not."
Yeah. Unless you
There's
have
no way.
unless you have some tricks up your sleeve that you can pull out that are
No.
absolutely going to turn this whole room around, then shut the fuck up and just find some angle that makes sense for yourself.
Yeah. And like if you can, great, you know, but it like some I found that to be the case where a lot of comedians would take it upon themselves to be like, I'm gonna save the show.
Yeah.
And good luck with that, but
We have maybe 5 comedians here that can like save a show.
yeah.
If it's like truly a train wreck of a show.
Right.
If it's salvageable and it's just been like, oh, the comics that have gone up so far are just kind of whatever,
Yeah.
then any comic can kind of get up there and turn it around. But if it's like that 5th place early kind of show, wow, dude, you had to be a real comedian.
Yeah.
You had to be a real comedian to come in there and get like 5 buckhead drunk people to be involved in your set.
Yeah, to just be just to listen.
Yeah.
To begin with. That's how it was the hardest part. And I remember you, especially with when 5th place first started, you were experimenting a lot with, like you started it out in that big room where
Yeah.
there was the dance floor, and then you kind of moved it back. You moved it to that little small side area, and like there was a lot of experimenting. So like that's, I mean, a good thing to tell people.
Great. Honestly, like the best advice I could give is like anyone that wants start it in a place like that where like because the bar itself didn't give a fuck, so we could just try anything out. We could go as late as we wanted. So there was really like it hurt at the time because the failure sucked, but but you kind of grow from it to the point where it's like, well, I'm glad we didn't start at like Ponce City Market. Because by the time we got to that point, like I had a basis of like, I know what it means to run a show at least. And then the 6 months we were in Ponce City Market, I grew exponentially because like we had real crowds and they paid a decent ticket price and they were invested and the host sets were way better because the material was actually there.
Yeah, it's a similar thought process as like doing open mics. Go like if you're starting out, go bomb at a place where the stakes aren't so high.
Yeah.
You know, find a place where you can do whatever you want, and where if the show doesn't go well, then they'll still be like, yeah, we'll still have you back. You know, like that kind of relationship with the venue is important, I think.
Yeah, I mean, suck a dick early and often in stand-up comedy. I mean, that's
the
truly...
best advice we've ever received on this podcast.
Pretty much,
so
yeah.
far, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
honest advice.
Yeah, just especially your first year, just suck as many dicks as you can. Just fucking blow all your sets out and just suck and try everything and
embrace the suck.
Yeah, and don't get married to anything that works early on. Like there are things with even show producing that worked early on and hosting that worked early on that over time was like, this is dumb. What I'm doing here is really fucking borderline retarded. Like let's just fix this.
Did you do like trivia or like giveaways?
I think sometimes we do too many buckets, and boy, we for some reason a lot of comics that just shouldn't have even bothered would just throw their name in that bucket. So we'd get a little bit of momentum going, and boy,
then it would just to a halt.
Yeah, I mean, and the buckets got essentially the same amount of time as someone else was on the show, and it was like. That's why I'm so. I haven't done bucket spots since then. I am cautious with buckets because it's like if I'm going to do a bucket, I want to do an honest bucket because I hate rigged buckets. Then just it defeats the purpose.
What? There's rigged buckets?
Oh, bless you.
Almost all of them are rigged. That's honestly the biggest thing you'll learn your first year when you're like, how did the same guy get up?
That person got there, and I did. Yeah.
How did this guy's name not be in the bucket and he still got pulled?
Yep.
Yeah, they'll look at the name for a minute and then like not say the name, and then the person walks in the door and they're like, oh, it's that guy, and like just because clearly it was.
Yeah.
And you start seeing like, oh, that guy got up 3 weeks in a row. Cool. All right.
Yeah.
But,
just at that point, I'm like, just cut the bucket. Just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Just call it what it is. It's just guest spots,
Right.
And it's whoever you like coming in the door that you're like, okay, they can come up.
Yeah, because they're proven and they know what they're.
To a point. I mean, usually it's like, hey, we're friends.
Oh, okay.
And we hang out. I'll be a little bit more strict with that because, like, I'm friends with. Honestly, I'm probably one of the few show producers that actually are like still actively out in mics.
Yeah.
Which, to my credit, I try to like at least stay comic first, show producer second. I'm not trying to produce the best show ever. The point of the producing shows is just to get quality stage time. I'm not gonna like sit here and pretend that like I have this deep passion. I'm trying to become the next best thing to a comedy club. That's an unwinnable battle.
Yeah, but I mean, is the goal to just get better at it? Is the goal to just like get experience doing it, or?
I think it's about half and half right now. I mean, like I am fortunate. I would not do this by myself. I have, Lake and Jude. She helps a lot. I live with her. I've known her for like 11 years. She has a lot of interest in comedy. So she does probably about 60 to 70% of the work here. I come in with like the 30 to 40 where I'm like, maybe we do this. And I just throw out an idea, or I'll cut some video up that we can use for like marketing purposes and stuff like that. But if I had to do it by myself, like what Joe Pettis does, wow. Got to give props to him. That, it's a shit ton of work to do by yourself and to have a good show.
Yeah, that's what I learned. I did one show once, and it was at a.
Oh yeah. I remember this.
Yeah, I did one show, and I remember like the promoting is the part that I think is the most important thing to remember about. If you're running a show, you have to. If you want people in the door, people have to know about it.
90% of the job is promoting.
Right.
The other 10% is telling people you don't have spots. Truly.
It's probably more than 10%.
Yeah, no, honestly, nothing's better than 2 minutes before the host set. Someone's like, "Hey, just wanted to check in. Do you have a spot?"
Are you just doing buckets tonight, or is it?
And you're like, "Oh fuck, I forgot. I didn't book enough comics."
Yeah.
Totally. It slipped my mind.
Yeah, and
Thank God you're here.
Yeah, no.
you
Honestly,
saved the show.
we're an hour late. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Can you headline tonight? That would be really great.
Thank you.
Yeah. We paid for the hotel, but he didn't show up. So if you can go up and save the show for us, that would be.
And the hotel room's yours.
Yeah, you can go and use that. You can go ahead and we paid for a flight. You know what? We can take the flight anywhere you want.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, we got a voucher. You can have it.
we got Delta miles. If you want to take them, you can go wherever you like.
Oh yeah, no, that's the other thing. Honestly, sometimes show producing can hurt you more than it can help you, because sometimes people will almost get upset that you're not booking them enough. And so then they'll start their thing, and then you're never booked on their thing. And then it like turns into this weird like Cold War situation where it's like, well, neither of us are going to book each other because we're playing chicken at this point with our shows. And it's it's so weird. I don't know.
Cold shoulder war.
Yeah, kind of.
So that's advice. Don't start a show.
Don't start a show.
You won't piss people off.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Don't start a show. Be a leech for as long as you can.
Yeah, that's I followed that advice for a long time. And look where it got me, guys.
You're doing great.
I'm killing it.
Well, you're surviving.
I'm booked on McCracken's tomorrow, so
See?
check me out.
There it is.
Are you actually like booked? Or?
No, I'm going to the open mic in McCracken's tomorrow.
I was about to say, because he does experiment with that mic, so I was like, maybe
it's a book show. Yeah,
maybe we're doing that again.
Yeah. He saw my Facebook post today and thought I was ready.
He just really wants to get unfunny-ish.
Yeah, he wants to get in front of our like tens of listeners. I think it's less than that even.
Oh, trust
our
me.
highest listened episode I think so far has 11 listens so far. So
Okay.
We're getting up there, guys.
Okay. Let's get you
Keep
started.
trucking.
Yeah, but I'm sorry to get back to the promotional part of show producing. Not to stop the riff train, but like as far as promotional goes, you said it's like 90% of it is promotion. And as far as like promoting, do you go in person to like hand out flyers? Do you just go online to be like go on Reddit or go on Facebook or whatever and pay for ads, that kind of thing?
We've done it all. We used to be way more like digitally heavy with like Facebook ads, Instagram ads.
I mean, don't give away all your secrets because the other shows will just steal them.
If you want to, you can.
But you can if you want.
Yeah,
The
I'm not
thing
gonna
is,
say no.
There are no secrets. You can have this information, and most comics are so bad at promotions, they still will fuck it up.
Will not get it right.
I have nothing good to say about any comedians ever. So they will find a way to fuck it up. Including myself.
Comedians are notoriously bad at everything, including comedy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You've been bad at everything your whole life. Why don't you try comedy?
Yeah, try comedy, be bad at that too.
Yeah, you know how acting's not working out? Try this. Try this thing.
Try the thing that's infinitely harder. Than
Yeah,
acting.
try the thing that actually requires a little bit more skill.
There's only a couple comics like that here. But going back to promotion.
Yeah, we've done
You want
it
to
all.
name some names? Then?
No.
I know we're getting close. We're getting close to having to like stop the episode.
Yeah,
because
we gotta nix this one. This will
Yeah.
be the lost episode.
That's always the best. We have to go like, let's start this episode again because we kind of got a little shitty there.
We got a little too close to the what's it called, the collar or whatever.
Yeah, we're starting to get really close to naming names at this point. No, we've done everything. So my girlfriend, she works in digital marketing, which doesn't really help too much at this point. Because
Thank you, girlfriend.
yeah, I'll be honest.
Thanks for nothing.
Digital marketing for stand-up comedy is very hard because like at the end of the day, marketing, you're always asking yourself, who wants this? And with stand-up, most people don't know they want it.
The answer's no one usually.
Yeah, well, no, I won't say that. People actually do want it. People get very enthusiastic. Like, I've had people tip the show without any tips or anything.
Oh, okay.
Give money to me. I've had people, like, freak out because they're like, this is exactly what we wanted, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Stand-up just ends up being, like, the best way to put it is, like, when you go into, like, a hole-in-the-wall kind of lunch spot where you're just like, whatever the fuck, I don't care. And then it ends up blowing the doors off of what you expected. And you're like, wow, that's exactly it. That's usually what ends up happening. Like, most people don't know they want stand-up. That's why, like, tickets are usually not sold until, like, 2 minutes before the show's about to start. And then all of a sudden people are generating ticket sales. So it's digital marketing. I mean, an email list helps a lot. Only if you know how to cultivate it. That's the other part of that equation. Flyers. I think if you have a show in a high pedestrian area where, I mean, if you're in Atlanta, go fuck yourself, because that's not going to happen.
Yeah, there's foot traffic's not a thing.
Yeah, I mean, at Ponce there was, but then I don't know, it dried up at some point.
Yeah, Ponce, Edgewood. Where else would like people walk?
The Beltline.
Yeah,
but that's like
so far
Ponce
away.
essentially. 'Cause
Yeah.
that connects.
Yeah, I mean it's.
And
Atlanta's-
flyering sucks. I mean, flyering is a skill. I swear to God, flyering and barking, legitimately such an underappreciated skill in the world of comedy because it is so easy to think about. Oh, I'm going to hand out paper to strangers until
They
you have
don't
to
want
go hand out papers to strangers. They look at you with like
Hatred.
hatred. Yeah,
Yeah, just like, what the hell do you think you're doing?
yeah.
I don't want to take anything from you.
Yeah. I think when I ran my one show the one time, I asked before I even started the show. I said, "Who's here? Who saw my Facebook ad?" And like 50% of the crowd was like applauded. And then I was like, "Who saw my Reddit thing?" And like another 50%. And then I was like, "Who got the flyer that I handed them?" And 0 people. So it's one of those things that's like it's just
And that evolves. That
Yeah.
evolves because like what's crazy is we had shows where 50 people came in from a flyer. And then we'll have shows where a lot of them come from Facebook ads or
Yeah.
they came from the email list or a Reddit post or whatever the fuck. Honestly, if you're going to market a show, just try everything
just
you
gotta
can.
do everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Partner up because honestly, you're not. That's something I've like tried to explain to like newer show producers that just get started. Where I'm like, I get you want all the glory. It's not worth it. You're going to lose your sanity. Like, and you're not going to be able to do stand-up comedy. Like, there's not enough time in the day to have a job, do stand-up comedy, and produce a show by yourself.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Well,
But
Steve Harvey said that billionaires don't sleep. And so if you're getting up at 8 or 9, then you're already behind billionaires.
Steve Harvey said that's something
Yeah.
like a Gary Vee quote. What did Steve Harvey get in the business?
those
of, like-
guys are basically the same.
I've never heard Steve Harvey advice. Is he like a Gary Vee guy on the side?
I mean, like I've heard that Steve Harvey, he likes to use his Family Feud, like commercial breaks to give life advice.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, he's like the Andy
So
Stanley.
why? So you can like work your way to Family Feud? Like what? That advice doesn't go anywhere.
Good point. He kind of reached the pinnacle of giving life advice, which is he's at the pinnacle of what you can be as a guy who gives life advice.
Yeah, I mean, like you're gonna. I can take this advice and be the next game show host. I mean, it's a lot tougher when it's like I can literally see where you are right now.
Right. He's like, if I work hard, I can be the host of Wheel of Fortune. And like
Ooh.
that's like the next level of where he's. It doesn't. Yeah,
I want to be clear. We would all take that job, but no one starts out going like, "God damn, trying to get on Family Feud." I got in this game to tell people they're wrong.
Nobody gets that job offer and they're like, yeah. They're always like, I guess I'll pay the bills.
I guess there's nothing else.
I guess that's
this'll do.
I guess there's 2 months.
This or
rent.
going back to work. I mean, all right.
I just want to pretend to laugh while Karen lets the whole family down. That's why I got into comedy.
Yeah, I just want to see a white family say an inappropriate word.
Yeah, I didn't know that about Steve Harvey. I am learning something new every day.
I'll send you the Facebook article. I mean,
What,
of course it's true.
Speaking of that, what do you guys want? What are you trying to land at here? Because I'm always curious to hear what other comics like. What is the end goal here?
For us, I mean, I don't know about Aram. For me, I'm just trying to have. I find this interesting and fun to talk about.
Okay.
You know, I just like every part of it because I've been exactly where you are and where you've been. Like, you know, trying to run a show and trying to do comedy at the same time. And like, you know, some people, because I hate, you know, some people are not maybe people like stand up, but they're not interested in performing. So maybe they can listen to this and then they'll get something out of it. I don't know, but more.
If you can be a show producer, not a comedian, I already like you more than every comedian.
Oh, a billion %, yeah.
Let me be clear. You can produce a show and not do comedy. It's actually preferred.
Right.
Because as comedians, I think we can all agree, we all fucking hate running shows ourselves. Like, it's truly just a love of the game.
Unfortunately, it's the unfortunate truth is that typically comedians are the best at putting the best lineup together because you're out there, you know who's there, and you know who the best comedians are.
To a point, yeah.
I mean, like, I think, but some people do have the ear. I don't know. They have the ability, the same ability to know who would be good for a lineup and put a show together without necessarily being a comedian. No.
I mean, isn't that what a comedy club is based around? It's like the idea of like, I mean, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's comedy clubs that have garbage lineups, so I don't.
Yeah, it's hard, but yeah. I think that's the end goal of this. I mean, and the reason I wanted to talk to you was just because it's like this. I mean, this is just cool information for me and for Aram, I think.
Well, I have a 3-prong approach. First, this is 1, build an audience. 2,
be Steve Harvey.
Get on Family Feud.
Yeah, start putting ads every 15 seconds, and then 3, have a conglomerate buy this show for $1 billion. That's a 3-prong approach.
Sell this to a podcast network.
Yeah, Spotify.
Yeah.
That's a platform. We're already going the wrong direction. We're like moving the opposite way.
I'm trying here. I had no 3-prong approach.
We're gonna sell this to Spotify.
Yes.
Okay, even though it's on Spotify already.
We're gonna sell it back to them, their own content.
Are you saying like Spotify exclusive?
Yes.
I wouldn't want to split up the 11 listeners.
Like Steve Harvey did.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to lose.
Classic Steve Harvey move.
I mean, if they're listening.
What about those 4 Apple Music listeners?
Well, that's fine. If they're on Google Play, though, I hate you. Get out of here.
There's no point. Why are you doing this?
Yeah. Get a real podcast app. Come on.
Who looks at the Apple podcast app on their phone and goes, no, I'm going to listen to this on Google Play.
Yeah. Or Stitcher. Are you Stitcher?
We had
people.
Stitcher listeners. We had a podcast for
I
a
know.
little bit.
I hate them too. No, I'm just kidding. You guys are great. That's probably the majority of them.
Yeah, that's all 11 is from Stitcher.
Yeah, we're going to see no one listening to this
I wish I could
episode.
tell you if I knew we were on Stitcher or not. I really genuinely have no clue.
I mean, the podcast game is...
It's topsy-turvy.
It is.
There's not enough out there, so I'm glad we're out there.
Oh, yeah.
Early.
Podcast talking about comedy.
Yeah, comedy...
really ahead of the curve on this one.
Yeah,
guys.
comedy advice is hard to come by, so...
That's really, yeah.
Yeah, and the truthful answer also is that, like, I mean, I don't know a lot of Atlanta comedy podcasts. Like, at least it's something different in the terms of, like,
Yeah, what happened to Atlanta Comedy Grind?
It's, I don't know.
Comatose?
Oh, tell us about Atlanta.
Sure.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Yeah, so if you don't know what Atlanta Comedy Grind is, I don't know why you're listening to this, but...
That's our 11 listeners.
Yeah,
I need my grind.
They're like, I've listened to 4 episodes, I gotta find out when Atlanta Comedy Grind's coming back. But yeah, it was like a vlog thing that I did for a while. It was like Atlanta comedy based, like...
That's how I met you, by the way.
Right, what, like
At
through the
Noni's.
video?
No, at Noni's. You're setting up your camera.
Oh, yeah, now everyone does that.
Yeah,
everyone has a camera.
Well, everyone's trying to get clips.
Yeah, everyone's just trying
so
to
they
like...
could get 100 views on TikTok. Because the novelty's gone. Like, it worked for like one guy.
Yeah, one guy got 20,000 views and everyone's like, oh, well, I can, like...
Yeah. I can figure out an algorithm.
I'm funnier than that. I'm funnier than that guy.
Atlanta Comedy Grind was great. Like that, it's a cool concept.
I liked it. I enjoyed doing it. The reason that I stopped doing it was because it started to be the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Where it was
You
like
bombing?
Yeah. And I'd be fine with me bombing. That I don't have a problem with. Everyone knows that. But it was bombing at the same place every night. You'd only watch me bomb so many times at Lightning Round before you're like, I get what's going on,
Yeah. Okay.
Let me bomb with this new joke in Noni's. You know what I mean?
I see this guy. He puts a little clickbaity title, but then it's him bombing at Limerick again.
Comedian destroys heckler and self-esteem. Yeah, so that's the main reason why I stopped doing it. I really wanted to have like some big, maybe have more, a little bit.
That's a promise from a show like that before your career can take off.
Yeah,
Because we're all at that stage where we're like hitting the same places over and over because we're not going out of town enough.
Yeah, and none of us are, we're not doing like, comedy festival and then TV taping. We haven't hit those milestones yet. So that's kind of the hard part about Atlanta Comedy Grind, at least, was that I was like, it was sort of, you know, I would go out of town. I did one in Athens. I did one in Chattanooga. I did one in Savannah. And so, you know, I was traveling a little bit, but after a while you sort of go, okay, I've kind of done everything at my level that I can for this. And that's why, you know, once something comes up, I might bring it back. But
Okay.
that's
fantastic.
That's a teaser.
Any last thoughts?
On Atlanta Comedy Grind?
Yeah.
Or in life, you mean?
Yes. No, wait, that sounded like very...
Final thoughts?
Yeah, like, oh my goodness.
Final thoughts on Atlanta Comedy Grind. It will come back eventually, but hopefully when I'm a little bit further along in my career.
Yeah,
Awesome.
book Andrew out of state, so he has.
You get a guaranteed Atlanta Comedy Grind.
Video.
If you put me up at your club, there's a guaranteed Atlanta Comedy Grind episode in it for you for free.
Well, audience, stay tuned. We're going to have more of Ty.